Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
Hold on to your lug nuts. It's time for an overhaul.
Turn it up some.
I'm your huckleberry.
I don't give jobs, I hire men. You won't give me anything, and I won't give you anything.
Collision, sir.
Whoa, relax. We're not even moving.
There's no crying in baseball.
Live and statewide, we're News New Mexico. It's Tuesday, September 25th. I'm Michael Swickard. Got Bob Enlick here. Jerry Hardin's our producer-director, newsnm.com. That's newsnm.com is our website. On the Newsmaker line, Marita Noon. Energy Makes America Great. Org. You got to remember, it's energymakesamerica.great.org. And Marita, you're headed down to southern New Mexico to Alamogordo to give a talk today.
I am going to be speaking for the Eagle Forum in Alamogordo today.
All right. My old hometown. You're going to drive by the ranch. It's 16 miles south of Carrizozo. Look to your left. You'll see a big house up on a hill. That's one of our ranch houses there. So,
okay, 16 miles south of Carrizozo. Okay.
You'll see Oscura's the name of the little town. And look to your left, and you'll see a big nobody's there right now. But we'll be there a little later. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the OPEC President.
Yes, Marita.
Who would think the O in Obama, the O in OPEC stands for Obama?
That's a good one, Marita. This is Bob. And,
hey, Bob, nice to talk to you again.
Yeah. I was reading your column, and you got this idea that maybe the Saudis want Obama to win. Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Maybe they want him to win. They totally are in the tank for him, and nobody is talking about that at all. And personally, I think that's something that people need to hear about. So once again, I appreciate you letting me talk about it and expose the issue, because people are unhappy about gas prices and that they've been increasing throughout the summer, and they had a quick spike following the Middle East unrest. The riots in Libya and Egypt and Yemen and the other Middle Eastern countries, and that Middle Eastern unrest should have caused a big spike in gas prices. That's what typically happens when there's something going on in the Middle East. It upsets the supply chain or makes people worried about the supply chain, even if it doesn't actually upset it, and prices go up. Well, they went up, but then suddenly, mysteriously, they dropped, and it was a mystery, and the pundits were out there talking about, well, it's this, and there's a lot of reasons why the prices could possibly go down. We do have a global economy. We have more supply. We have a variety of things. But the biggest factor, I believe, is that Syria, on their own, without President Obama sending an emissary over to Saudi Arabia, as we have done in the past when gas prices go up. We didn't send someone there to beg, oh, please, please, please pump more. We need the prices to be lower. I mean, we do that periodically in this country, and that's reported in the news, but there are no such reports. But yet Saudi Arabia has come out and said, we are offering more oil to our customers. Isn't that sweet of them? They care about us in America. On their own, they've just decided we're going to pump more so the price goes down. My contention is that's totally motivated by the awareness that if the price is too high, over $4 a gallon on average, that's where the American people kind of go berserk and tell the president, oh, you got to do something. So Saudi Arabia has become President Obama's strategic petroleum reserve.
And so we're gonna see within the next couple of weeks prices descending a little so that it takes it off the radar, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Now, they said we're going to continue pumping at these levels through the end of the year. Now, I don't know if they're really going to do it through the end of the year, but I'm pretty certain that they will do it through November 6th, because they want Obama to win. Now, why? Why do they want Obama to win? Because Obama does not want to extract, he doesn't want to touch the vast American oil resources that we have. And as long as Obama is president, the American resources will be locked up, and Saudi Arabia, the OPEC countries, will continue to supply our American energy needs.
Now, one thing is that when the price of a barrel of oil goes up, it incentivizes people in the United States of America to drill more. And so Saudi Arabia has been noted over a 30-year period of time that when they see us being incentivized to drill too much, they have a tendency to dump oil into the market to kill our drilling efforts. They certainly have done that previously, haven't they?
Yeah, they most certainly have, and really that's what they're doing here, because they know if Mitt Romney wins, his energy plan is to tap the American resources, which will create jobs, which will provide resources, dollars for the federal coffers, and help us be less dependent. In fact, I believe we truly could be energy independent. And, every president since Nixon has talked about being energy independent, but never before have we had the U.S. resources, or at least the knowledge. It's not that the resources weren't there, but we have the technology and the techniques to discover and extract more than we ever thought possible. So this time, when Mitt Romney says we're going to be energy independent by 2020, this is a doable goal with the resources that we have, and that scares Saudi Arabia because they like the control position that they hold over the entire global economy, not just America, but the global economy as well.
Well, what else do they have to control the world other than their oil?
Well, nothing. I mean, without that, if the world does not need their oil, now the world will still need their oil even if America was producing at maximum volume, because we have a growing China and a growing India that's needing more supplies, and other countries as well. But those are the two big countries that are the growing energy consumers. But, if there's more North American oil, which the Keystone Pipeline would help with, which Mitt Romney has said on day one he'll sign off on the Keystone Pipeline, and that would bring more North American resources to market and would lower the price on a global market. Or if we have an Iran with a nuclear bomb and we have a war over there in the Middle East between Israel and Iran, we have the resources on our shores.
Question: Saudi Arabia thinks oil prices are too high. For what? And the answer is too high for President Barack Obama to get reelected. That's quite a statement.
Well, yeah, I tried to be a little provocative with this piece, but I think that the logic of it bears out that's why they're lowering the prices by pumping more oil, because they want to see Barack Obama get reelected. As we said at the beginning, who would have thought the O in OPEC stands for Obama?
Well, here would be the question with that then, is the fact that how do we feel about other countries trying to affect our elections?
Well, I think that happens all the time in a variety of ways. I've had quite a bit of response to my column on townhall.com. In fact, this particular column is almost record-breaking in the number of Facebook recommends it's gotten, which is really kind of the only way I have to gauge public interest. I'm usually happy if a column gets 100. This one so far, I think this morning I looked and it had like 438 Facebook likes. So it's been a pretty popular column. But in response to that, I've had people sending me information saying things like, well, the European Union wants President Obama to win as well, and that's why they're holding off on a few things in Europe, because they want Obama to win as well. So I think many times we have foreign countries that are impacting our election.
It sounds like February is going to be just simply awful month in America if Barack Obama is elected. Because that's when it all comes home to rest, doesn't it?
I don't know, does it?
Well, it does, because at that point he doesn't have to run again, and everything that he wants, then that's the moment that...
Well, I mean, there are states that, for example, have one-term governors, and that could be the case. But I mean, I think overall we're headed for a major economic problem. $8 a gallon gas, no question. If Obama is reelected, and February could well be the time when I don't know that he's got to wait for his for that second term to officially start.
Well, that's true. That's true. The
7th
of November, if he's got it. Now, we have the pit rule in New Mexico is going to be ruled upon. What's your feeling about that?
I think there will be some changes in the pit rule. I don't think it'll be totally repealed, but I do think that there were a lot of harsh stipulations that were put in it that were unnecessary, and we've talked about this before, that benefited specifically Governor Richardson's cronies, and so I think it will be dialed back significantly.
How many years will it take for the environmental lobby to exhaust all of their legal abilities with the pit rule? I think the environmental lobby will keep this in court for at least 10 years because they will spend any amount of money to keep us from drilling oil and putting that money in our schools. So, Marita, you're actually predicting that everybody who's worried about gas prices, don't worry.
Well, you need to worry even more, actually, because, this is a ploy that the Saudi Arabia's release of more oil is a ploy to shift our direction away from looking at gas prices and being worried about them, and in their hope to get President Obama reelected, because then we are going to remain dependent on Middle Eastern oil.
Do you think we're going to release oil from the strategic reserve?
No, I don't think we're going to, because Saudi Arabia is doing it for us. President Obama, when he was elected, when he was campaigning, he said that we're going to be energy independent. But he had a different path. His idea to energy independence was solar panels and windmills, which have nothing to do with Middle Eastern oil. But he thought, well, we're going to have electric cars, and electric cars will get us off of Middle Eastern oil. But the news out today is that Toyota has announced that they are killing plans for their all-electric car because there just is no public demand.
Now, are you taking your electric car down to Alamogordo from Albuquerque?
No, well, first off, I don't have an electric car, but I get a rental car for the longer trips. I rent a car, and, I'm not sure what I'll be taking. I'll take whatever Enterprise gives me.
Yeah, I was just concerned that, since they're good for about 30, 40 miles, I'm not sure how you're going to do it because it's farther than that between recharges.
Yeah, that would be a problem. And that is the problem with the electric cars, and part of why Toyota announced today that they are not going to produce their electric car as they had planned.
Well, Marita, what fuel do electric cars run on? Is it fossil fuel?
I think it's coal.
It's mostly coal. Yes, it is mostly coal. It's an interesting concept, isn't it?
It is. Electric car, how do we make electricity? We use coal, so, well, then that car runs on coal. It doesn't run on electricity.
People don't know too much about how this stuff works. The people who claim that we can solve it with windmills and solar.
That's very true, and as I'm fond of saying, people don't realize when they talk about wind and solar, you ask them, well, why should we have wind and solar? Why do we need this? One of the answers you'll always get is energy independence. And then I encourage people to say, when someone says that, stop them and say, wait, help me understand. How do wind and solar help us be energy independent? And people are stuck with that. They don't have an answer for it because there just is no obvious answer, because wind and solar produce electricity, and what we get from the Middle East is oil. We don't import electricity from anywhere.
Now, the thing is, their eyes glaze over and they go, you just have to believe, Marita. Come on, you just have to go to the church of
belief. Yeah, we need enough pixie dust and it'll happen.
You just have to believe, Marita. What's the matter with you? You don't believe?
Now, I am an optimist. I just want you to know, because I think the pit rule, they'll exhaust their legal options
in
under
less than
10 years. And you
Okay.
think it's going to take more. But see, what I really think is I think we're going to see a turnaround in the whole country regarding, this is assuming we get Mitt Romney in office and he does what he says, and which will, I believe, turn the economy around. People are going to realize that all of this environmental emphasis is really about destroying America. It's more about destroying America than saving the planet.